Hello and welcome. Today's video is a revoice of Brian Tracy's The Power of Vision and Commitment in Achieving Success. When I first started out many years ago, I had no money and was completely broke. When I was in my late teens, I had a single thought that, in retrospect, I think was the single most significant thought I've ever had. It was as simple as this: if you study successful people and do what they do, you'll be more successful, and if you study unsuccessful people and avoid doing what they do, you won't be a failure. Studying successful people and avoiding what failed people do is the key to success. And that is exactly what I want to discuss with you today: how to learn from other successful people. I was quite clueless when I first got started, but as time went on, I became interested in the topic of achievement. I've studied the personalities and philosophies of famous people by reading their biographies and autobiographies. Following extensive research in the fields of philosophy, economics, religion, psychology, and metaphysics, I have identified 10 fundamental characteristics that are shared by successful people of both sexes. There may be more or fewer, but if you possess these 10 traits, nothing in the world can stop you from being an exceptional success. So let's speak about these criteria. There may be more or fewer, but if you possess these 10 qualities, nothing in the world can stop you from being an excellent success. The first and foremost principle is known as clarity, and it encompasses not just clear thinking, but also a variety of other concepts and practices. When we talk about having clear goals, we are referring to the ability to single out exactly what it is that we want to achieve or accomplish in this life. The more successful people I spend time with, the more I see that those who are in the top 5% of the population have a very distinct idea of the things they want out of life and the path they want to take to get there. There are instances when there is absolutely no awareness of one's surroundings. Some people believe that if you don't know where you're going, any path will get you there in the end. If you don't have any definite plans or objectives for your life, you're doomed to spend it working for other people who do. On the other hand, just 5% of individuals really have objectives. To gain clarity, the first and most critical stage is to have a distinct idea of where you want to go, what you want to achieve, who you want to be, what you want to have, and what you want to do. Being determined is the second step on the path to clarity, and perhaps the most crucial one. Get moving on it. I have never met a person who was successful who lacked decisiveness, and vice versa. I have never come across someone who was unsuccessful who lacked it. Be decisive. Develop your capacity for decisiveness through consistent practice. We are aware that the reason we are unable to make decisions is because we do not want to seem foolish. But the horrible thing is that the way that we think eventually becomes a habit, and the habit of indecision might doom us to disappointment. It is possible for us to be smart, bright, and ambitious. Nevertheless, if we are unable to make the tough choices that arise throughout our lives, and if we are unable to make judgments easily, then the result is that we are forced to wait until the very last minute to make a decision. 80% of choices should be made the first time they are offered, and if you make decisions every time one presents itself, you will ultimately acquire the habit of decisiveness. Become quite clear on what it is that you want, and find it easy to make decisions. If you have a solid notion of what you want to achieve, and successful individuals tend to have a strong sense of judgment, then the ability to effectively make decisions may not be the decisive element in whether or not you will be successful. Successful people tend to have a good sense of direction. The next piece of guidance presented under the topic clarity is to have a vision for yourself as well as a vision for your life. Having a dream is the vital first step in the process of building a vision for one's future. As stated in the lyrics of the song, you've got to have a dream if you want to make a dream come true and fulfill your dreams. Dreamers have been at the vanguard of all of history's greatest major revolutions and upheavals since the very beginning. Those individuals have never been anything but dreamers. They have always been people who have had ambitious goals. Each and every effective leader has vision. It is said in the Book of Solomon that, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." And the philosophical interpretation of this saying is that where there is no vision, the people perish on the inside because they lose the excitement and thrill of life when they do not have vision. If the best method to foresee the future is to create it, which means to have a vision, even if the vision is in the air or the sky. Then construct a foundation beneath your dreams. When you witness people climb from obscurity and poverty to fame and prosperity, you will know that everything is possible. This is a discovery that I made a couple of years ago, and it just staggered me because I've been studying success for years, and then there's the book In Search of Excellence, and then there's The Pursuit of Excellence, and then there's Refinding Excellence in Losing Excellence, and all the excellence books. And I sat down and looked at this whole concept of excellence, and I saw something that I hadn't noticed. The second letter, I recognized that every single person or woman that I had studied who had achieved any kind of success in any career whatsoever had done it after they had made a commitment to being extraordinary in that sector. And I started to study, I began to compare, and I began to talk to people about it. Eventually, I came to the conclusion that if you want to achieve any type of success in any profession whatsoever, you need to devote yourself to being outstanding in that field. I have talked with thousands of people on a regular basis, and in all of those conversations, I have never seen a single successful person who was not also outstanding at what they did. I have never found someone who could say that. Only the top 5 or 10% of people in any given industry are exceptional. Thus, if you want to be successful, it is imperative that you make the commitment to succeed in the profession that you have chosen. Only then will you be able to say that you have achieved success. To become the best at anything, you have to devote yourself to becoming outstanding. And the fantastic thing about being good is that it is more of a journey than a goal that you will never attain. The 2 greatest enemies of greatness are complacency and comfort. But if you set your goals on being extraordinary, doors will start to fly open for you. One of the most crucial components of greatness is just realizing that it means giving everything you have the chance to grow better. It is possible to get great yields. Excellence yields opportunities because when you become good, you open up. It's almost like the Red Sea of opportunity opens up in front of you when you become excellent. You come to the attention of people, and people try to get you, and they give you more responsibilities and more opportunities you see when we do something well. It gives us a feeling of self-esteem and pride. We feel like a winner, but we do things in an average way. It doesn't give us anything. That's why the companies that have committed to excellence are not hundreds of % better in any given area. What they are is they are 1 or 2% better in 100 different areas. That's the key. You see, you don't have to be a quantum leap different from somebody else. You just have to be a little tiny bit different in the critical areas that make a difference, and you can achieve that simply by making it a goal, setting it as a goal and working on it. You can become anything that you want to become. The harder you work, the better you get. The average self-made millionaire in America works. When it comes to toiling away, let me inform you that in our culture, the amount of time spent toiling away at a job is limited to 8 hours a day. Anything more than that is done in pursuit of success. If you just work 8 hours a day, you are in serious financial jeopardy. You had better have a rich uncle or someone else take care of you because, in our culture, working 8 hours a day is only enough to ensure your existence. If you put in the hours, whether it be studying, reading, or working, it will pay off, and it will pay off in space. Every hour that you put in beyond 8 is an investment in your success, and if you put in the hours, it will pay off. It's similar to sowing a seed in the earth. When you sow a seed in the ground, the plant that comes up is not just one seed. There's a crop that you put in, but every hour beyond 8 that you spend is an investment in your future. When you sow a seed in the ground, the plant that comes up is not just one seed. Concentration and the capacity to concentrate are the 2 elements that, in my opinion, are the most important in determining one's level of success in life. After all, there is never enough time to do everything, but there is always time to finish the chores that are essential rather than the tasks that are pleasurable and straightforward, which is what the majority of people choose to do. They also compile a list of everything that needs to be finished, begin at the bottom of the list, and work on the less essential things first. They continue doing this until there is nothing left on the list by the end of the day. The best performers zero in on the activities that matter the most, and always keep in mind that everything else is a waste of time. They also keep in mind that effective time management involves more than just time management. If you are able to successfully manage your time, you will be able to achieve any goal that you set for yourself, since there are 24 hours in a day, and this is a constant for everyone. The capacity to concentrate intently on a single undertaking, while drawing from one's reserves of self-control and determination, is essential to achieving success in one's personal and professional endeavors. Nothing really remarkable has ever been accomplished because people lack the ability to concentrate totally on a single topic at a time. Amplify the sense of urgency that you have. 2% of individuals are imbued with a sense of urgency. 2% are prompt in their actions, and 2% are predisposed to take action. However, the amazing book titled In Search of Excellence, written by Tom Peters, claims that all outstanding firms have a leaning toward taking action, while all other companies do things whenever they get around to it. When you call any one of these firms, you will be presented with an instant sense of urgency. Get a reputation for being someone who finishes work fast and gains a reputation for reliability and speed, and your future will suddenly become clear to you. Getting a reputation for being someone who is quick will give you a reputation for speed. This is particularly important to keep in mind when it comes to sales. If someone reaches out to you with a query, answer it as soon as possible. If they have an issue, you should immediately reply to it. If someone needs anything, you should move on it as swiftly as possible if necessary. It's possible that you'll use some common sense in your thinking. In my view, the path to failure is one that involves acting before carefully considering the implications of one's actions, and you may train your mind to behave in this manner. Taking action without first giving it any consideration is the root cause of every failure, but developing common sense requires devoting some time to doing so before taking any action. Make the most of one of the most insightful guides that you have, which is your intuition, and use it to your benefit. People who consistently achieve high levels of success have a number of characteristics in common, one of which is that whenever they face a hurdle, they take a step back, study it, and attempt to derive general principles from it. They ask themselves, what is the most important thing I can take away from this experience that will help me in the future? You should think about everything that has occurred to you, including the scenario that is presenting the greatest difficulty for you right now, and ask yourself the following question. If you look for the valuable lesson or the germ of an advantage or benefit that is equal to or larger than yours, you will find it in every battle. This is the fifth example. If you look for it, you could turn up some interesting results. I have a creative side. Make use of your imaginative skills. Recognize the reality that every person has some degree of intelligence, and that every successful person is creative. People who are creative respond to the world in their own unique ways. They inquire about things. They are able to change. They have expressed their interest. Curiosity is one of the defining characteristics of creative thinking, and in my experience, individuals who ask the most questions are also the most intelligent. They never grow out of asking questions, even if they do it in a manner that is reminiscent of that of children. They are also highly open and adaptable, and they are able to quit what they are doing if fresh knowledge contradicts it, and start something different after acquiring new information. In addition, they have excellent communication skills. Keep in mind that in 5 years, the majority of the activities that we do in our regular business will have changed. In the next 5 years, 80% of the products that we use, including the food that we eat, the automobiles that we drive, the music that we listen to, the movies that we watch, and even the streets that we drive on, will all be brand new. According to the findings of the study, this is the rate at which things are changing, and all you need to start a fortune is a concept that is 10% novel. If you want to become rich in life, extremely affluent, or even a billionaire, I'm going to tell you that it is quite possible for you to achieve this goal if you are prepared to pay the price. On the other hand, the majority of individuals who become billionaires do so by offering a service that is superior to the one that is already being used by people, and by doing what they are already doing, just a little bit better, a little bit quicker, and with a little bit more elegance or delicacy than they already do. You are able to do everything you set your mind to in this life if you come up with an original concept, which you will come up with if you overstuff your head with thoughts. Read magazines, read some books, quiz some individuals, and inquire as to why people are acting in the manner in which they are acting. The next step is careful thought. The idea behind this consideration is that the quality of the cuisine is what keeps customers coming back to the restaurant, despite the fact that the meal may only be 5% different from time to time. Gaining the people skills necessary to be successful can help you on your path to success, achievements, and wealth, as well as everything else. Attend some lessons on the art of communicating. Attend several lectures on how to be an inefficient listener. Sign up for some lessons in public speaking. The quantity of your vocabulary will have a huge influence on your life, since it is impossible to imagine a successful person who is unable to communicate effectively with other people. This is why improving your vocabulary is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Your vocabulary will also have an effect on your capacity to orally express yourself, to stand on your own 2 feet, to write properly, and to get other people to understand what you are trying to say. There is a universal rule called the law of accumulation that claims that even if you do 100 or 1,000 things that you don't notice, ultimately they will collect and develop a power of their own. As a consequence, every single significant achievement in life is the product of thousands of smaller achievements. When we talk about consistency, we are referring to the idea that labor that is reliable, consistent, and predictable is always much preferable to spurts or bursts of brilliance and genius. Oh my goodness, he is so blessed. Isn't that the truth? What a stroke of good luck it was for him to have the right connections for the following things. The next item on the agenda is Commitment C. One of the most difficult things for individuals to acquire is the ability or desire to completely commit to a job, a relationship, a profession, or any other effort. However, success is impossible without commitment, and it is one of the things that people strive for the most. Who exactly was it that Emerson paraphrased as saying, "Every great achievement is the triumph of enthusiasm, the ability to commit yourself enthusiastically, wholeheartedly, 100% to what you want to do is the starting point of all achievement, and all of us in life seek something that we can commit ourselves to." Alan Cox found that the CEOs of the companies he investigated who had done the most in the shortest period of time had found their perfect niche and had been entirely engrossed in their work. He wrote about this discovery in his book, The Achievers, which was released the previous year. According to a study conducted by Dr. Shirley Blotnick on self-made billionaires, during the course of 20 years there were a total of 83 people out of 1,500 who became millionaires through their own efforts. He made the discovery that they all had the same pattern of picking an area of work that they liked, specializing in that line of work, getting brilliant at it, ultimately earning very well for it, and then keeping the money they earned from it. The most admirable trait that any leader can possess is bravery, which may be defined as both the ability and the desire to face one's anxieties. My experience has taught me that courageous individuals are not those who do not experience fear, but rather those who are able to gain control over their anxieties and face them head-on. The words of Mark Twain, "Do the thing you fear, and the devil will not come near you unless you do it," are as relevant now as they were when they were first written. Courageous to continue moving forward with your life. Brave to continue moving forward in order to realize your full potential. During my time as a karate student and teacher many years ago, I had the opportunity to train with 6 different world champions and participate in 3 different international competitions. One of the things that I took away from my finest karate teachers was their instruction to constantly go forward in a battle, even if it's only a half inch at a time. This was one of the lessons that I took away from my time studying karate. He said that if you are moving ahead, the whole of your attention is directed in that direction. But if you are standing still, just 50% of it is. Not because you will always be successful, but because doing so cultivates and reinforces the habit of moving forward, and the majority of people will choose to remain stagnant when presented with the opportunity to advance. On the other hand, I think General Douglas MacArthur was of the belief that each person has just one chance in their lifetime. The paradox of life is that the more we pursue opportunity and the less we focus on securing our future, the more secure our future becomes. Fear of failure, combined with the fear of making a mistake and the fear of losing our money, time, and effort, is what paralyzes and keeps us back. However, the habit of fearing failure may be broken by developing the habit of being courageous. From what I've seen and heard, the fear of failing is the single most important factor that contributes to failure in adult life. You are aware of the most desirable trait in all of existence that it is possible to develop, and I am going to share with you what that trait is, since I have made developing it a consistent part of my life. I have high hopes that I have it, but I can't say for certain that I do. To develop the quality of being unable to be stopped, this trait needs to be cultivated. Declare to yourself that whatever challenges life throws at me, regardless of how tough things become, I will never give up, and there is nothing that can ever stop me from achieving my goals. You must make the choice that you are going to push through even if you are completely worn out and fatigued. It is good that you have made this choice because it allows you to pick yourself up and say, okay, do your best, with the knowledge that nothing will ever be able to prevent you from achieving your goals. This is the cornerstone around which self-esteem is built. The third component, confidence, is something that comes about as a consequence of other things. You see, confidence comes as a consequence. Self-doubt is the single most effective way to stifle any and all endeavors. Everyone has it, and the only way to get over it is to force ourselves to engage in activities that we would ordinarily shy away from, and as far as I am able to tell, to keep moving ahead. You can only develop self-assurance by regularly engaging in certain behaviors that establish a firm foundation in your own mind that you can do whatever has to be accomplished, and that you have the capabilities necessary to be successful. A significant amount of success may be attained just by having confidence. You cannot imagine a successful person with lacking self-confidence. That the wonderful thing is this, and I learned this from a very great man who died recently, is that if you persist until you succeed at achieving a goal that is important to you, and you complete it like a degree in school, or you wrap up a sale, or you make a career successful, you plug into your subconscious mind a success pattern, and then the subconscious mind, running on the basis of inertia, attempts to adjust your words, actions, and feelings to duplicate that success pattern. And that's why they say nothing succeeds like success. That once you've been successful, you have a pattern set down which will enable you to apply that pattern to another part of your work to be successful in that. And the more you succeed, the more this pattern of success is reinforced, and you'll finally reach the point where it's impossible for you to fail if you succeed enough times, because you will have within you a self-adjusting mechanism that will guarantee your success.